Yo guys, Insane Gamer 52 here, and we have a new game mode called Team Cranked with some very good rewards. So the way this game mode works is very similar to the previous Crank, the Cowabunga Cranked with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, except this time it's team-based, right? So you have a 30-second timer that is shared throughout your entire team, and anytime anyone gets a kill, it refreshes that timer for everyone, which is awesome. It starts at 30 instead of a minute 30, but it's shared between everyone, so any kill counts for it, right? Which is awesome. Every round, it goes down by 1 second, but there is a power-up that will also boost it up by 1 second. So, it takes a little bit for it to get down to its minimum, which is now only 10 seconds instead of 5, which is, again, a huge quality of life improvement that I absolutely love. And for completing this game mode, for running this game mode to round 50 on each map, you will get some different rewards. So on every map, you will get 15,000 XP and a gobblegum pack of 6 gobblegums, including 1 high rarity gobblegum. So on Liberty Falls, that gobblegum is Support Group, which is a legendary. On Terminus, it is Raindrops. On Citadel, it is Timeout. On the Tomb, it is Wonderbar. And on Shattered Veil, it is Hidden Power. So there are 4 Ultra Gums and a bunch of other gums to be had for completing round 50 on each of the maps in this mode, which is awesome. And up to 75,000 extra bonus XP as well, which is great. This guide is going to be on Terminus, but if you would like to see all the other maps, feel free to check the description below for those links. Alright, in this game mode, there are no wall buys, so you cannot grab GS45s from spawn or any other gun off the wall, so I recommend going into the match with a GS45 already. It is going to be a little bit tougher in the early rounds until you get a Pack-a-Punch, but once you get a Pack-a-Punch, you're going to be absolutely flying, and this thing is going to shred in the higher rounds. It is worth noting that now with double tap in the game, most guns should be good, at least up through the 40s, potentially up to 50. So you can probably use a lot of guns. I think the GS45 is just going to be the easiest and kind of just, the most consistent one to do this with. You do get a guaranteed field upgrade, so everyone gets a field upgrade that'll pause the timer for 10 seconds. So it does not matter what field upgrade you run. If you're tactical, you want to run decoys, and you're lethal, you can run whatever you want. I'm going to run Molotovs. For your gobblegums, I recommend running just some gobblegums to help get set up, just so that you can get, cranking into the high rounds as quickly as possible. And for that, it's really just, profit sharing, who's keeping score, temporal gift. If you wanted to bring a dead drop in, you could do that as well. And if you really wanted, you could bring a Wonder Bar or, a Perkaholic or Hidden Power. Those will work just fine as well. But we are going to build the Wonder Weapon, so I am personally not going to bring in a Wonder Bar. There is also another crazy strategy that you could do to get set up, and that is if multiple people bring in a Tactical Diffusion, a Profit Sharing, and a Raindrops. And if you combine all of those together with multiple people using Profit Sharing at the same time, you can get up to 30,000 essence per person that uses Raindrops, which is absolutely absurd. 2 people use it, that's 60 grand right there. You can go open up the whole map, double pack, get a bunch of perks, and still have money left over, which is crazy. That is all on like round 1, which is just beyond absurd. That does require a Raindrops, which is an Ultra Gum, so I understand if not everyone wants to use that though, right? So I am going to go with the cheaper alternative of just running, some rares, some epics, and then, I do have a timeout over here that we will get into. So those are my setup gums. I do have a power keg just in case, we need to get our field upgrade back like really quick. And I do have a timeout that could also pause the timers for 3 whole minutes, which is also potentially very useful. Hopefully we don't need it, but, it's always good to have it in the back pocket, right? Honestly, that's the full setup, so let's hop into the match. All right, so we just loaded in, and as you can see, there is no Rampage Inducer, and there is no wall buys. So that is the sole reason that we brought in these GS45s, so that we can, use them while they're, use them Pack-a-Punch without having to rely on any box luck, right? All right, so we're going to go ahead and activate this. We're just going to make our way to Pack-a-Punch, same as normal. The early rounds really are not an issue because of how high the timer is, and, you're always going to be getting kills, especially if you're in a team of 4. Still worth it to aim for headshots, because if you look, here, I'll let the points die out for a second. So if you get a body kill, it's worth 135 points, but if you get a headshot, it's worth 230 points. So absolutely try and aim for headshots. They are worth literally double what they usually are, which is awesome. All right, just heading down the hill to the second amp. Always got to grab our loose change. Absolutely. Start that up. Yeah, something that is not the best about this pistol is it does not have a lot of ammo packed or unpacked. So you are definitely going to become friends with those ammo caches pretty quickly. We also are not going to be using our gobblegums, at least the profit sharings and stuff, until we do get our Pack-a-Punch, just because that has a lot higher, that's going to yield a lot more points from all the kills. So we are indeed saving our profit sharing until after we get Pack-a-Punch, we can get into a spot with some very fast zombie spawns. All right, let's go ahead and head down to the power room. Your boy is loaded, so I will open up quite a few of the doors. Always get that loose change and activate the third amp. Oh my God, there's so many! Oh, that was a really lucky timing to end that. All right, we're gonna go Pack-a-Punch our Sally and Forth, and we are gonna be grabbing the dead wire. So we're not gonna be doing the full Easter egg, but we do need to do a couple steps to get the Beamsmasher. So we're gonna grab that. We're gonna get our dead wire, and we're gonna head over here to our PhD, which I recommend everyone grabs except you boys broke. I need to get like one whole kill. Thank you, sir. There we go. All right, heading up the lift. And we do have to open the Beamsmasher build room. So we've got our dead wire. We got 1, 2, and 3. Head down here into the jug room. And 4 and 5. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for your service. Grab that EMF fob. And honestly, we can go start it right now. I'm gonna head over here, open the door, go grab the resonator from this briefcase over here. Kill all these vermin for a nice little bit of points. Why is that still beeping? That's so weird. I've never heard it beep that long. All right, do you guys know where the laptops up top are? I can grab the laptop on the bottom. Awesome, so we got that laptop activated. Oh, hello. Oh, so there we go. There's a time extension. So if we get a kill, we see we have a 21-second timer right now. We go ahead and grab that. It's up to 22. So it's just a nice little plus 1 second, which, can add up. You have 4 or 5 of them. It prolongs the time before you hit that 10-second timer, which is always useful. All right, we're going to head back over here, and hopefully they have got the other 2 laptops up top now. All right, so we got a little bit of algebra. We got 22, 11, 10. All right, so 44 plus 11 is 55. 20 plus 11 is 31. Minus 5 is 26. And then 11 plus 10 is 21. Minus 22 is 1. It's -1, but it's absolute value, so it's 1. All right, and now we just need to flip the round to get that resonator to pop out the computer. There we go. Go grab this real quick. And actually, if we want to use our profit sharing right now, I would like to get a lot of points before we go out on the boat, just so that we can go hit up the Wonder Fizz with a lot of points. Head into the Wonder Weapon build room. All right, Wrath, go to town, dude. This room with a profit sharing is just beyond ridiculous. It is so fast. That was one round. We're already up to 23,000. There's so much. We do want to make sure that we grab the salvage as well. And this is actually where we're going to be spending our high rounds, but we need to do a little bit of setup first. Oh, another double points. That's huge, dude. Smoke that amalgam. That boy out of here. We're going to flip this around and then potentially have a bug round next, and then we'll use some more profit sharings after that, and then we'll go build the Wonder Weapon and hit Wonder Fizz, and then just kind of like get set up and crank for the rest of the game. Get it? Crank. All right, I have 17 bullets in a dream, but thankfully it is a max ammo round, so we are good on that. All right, so honestly, if everyone just pops their profit sharing now, we will be fine. So here, I'm gonna pop my temporal first. I'm gonna get our timer up. That was scary. Why did our timer get so low? Gonna pop my profit. And let me grab this doubles. Let me grab that doubles. All right. Oodles of points. Let's get going. Try and stay in the room just because the spawns get kind of pushed out a little further and just take longer to get here if you start walking outside. Same with if you use a mutant injection. Like, it's great for getting kills, but it also does make it so that the zombies start spawning further away. Funny enough, though, chopper gunners don't affect the spawns at all, which is awesome. All right, that's actually really good to see. So the round flipped when we did still have a mangler left, which is great because if you've ever sat in this spot before, in this room, you might know that manglers can spawn in some wild spots, like in the caves down below, and, just take a year and a half to walk up here. So them not counting towards the round is huge because that means that you can just continue killing zombies, and then they will slowly make their way up to you and, not slow things down or potentially prevent you from getting your timer up, which is very, very good. All right, so if you're ever out of ammo in this spot, the closest ammo is right here in this cache right next to Jug. Ooh, insta-kill for the amalgam. Oh, that was so quick. That was so quick. All right, profit sharing is about done. So, oh my gosh, I never bought Jug. Oh, that's tragic. Definitely by Jug and PhD, so it's fine. Our profit sharing's done. I have 200,000, so we can go grab some perks. So we're actually gonna do this in 2 little shifts. All right, so hold off on the killing real quick. So we're gonna have here, me and Wrath will go down right now, down to the boat. So I need PhD badly. So we're gonna head down to the boat, and then Felonious and Burb, you guys are gonna stay up there, and you're just gonna get a kill for our timer. Okay, so you guys are gonna keep our timers going while we're grabbing the Wonder Fizz. Okay, I guess I should probably grab PhD, although hopefully we don't need it by now, but you know, it'll be good to have just in case, right? All right, let's go hop on the free boat. Always grab the free boat. All right, so they're keeping our timers going. We are gonna go grab our Wonder Fizz real quick. Yeah, try and get the kills, you know, right about when it hits 10. Yo, I just earned a Perkaholic. Let's go. All right, Wonder Fizz is here on round 1, so you can grab this at any point, but you know, well, here we can just grab all the perks. We are loaded from those profit sharing. 200 grand is, oh, we still have 158 grand. Jump change. All right, so we're gonna head back to our boat real quick. So we're actually gonna head over to the first island for the Beamsmasher, and we're gonna have them come down and get their perks while we're on that island. So I will let you guys know in a second. And actually, first, I'm gonna make a little pit stop to raise the rarity of my gun, since, actually, no, here. We're gonna, oh my goodness, if I could walk. We're gonna raise the rarity of our gun and grab triple pack. So let's go to purple rarity. We're gonna grab, I'm gonna keep electric actually for the amalgams. And I'm actually gonna go grab triple pack, and then we'll head out. So if you guys want to go grab your Wonder Fizz, you can, and me and Wrath will stay on the mainland, getting, you know, a kill for our timer, okay? We're gonna slowly make our way down to the Pack-a-Punch, which is hopefully down here. It could be up top, now that I think about it. It is up top, so that's fine. I'm just gonna call it down. All right, so we got kills in sight whenever it gets down to 10 seconds. All right, let's go hit our triple pack, and we still have 100 grand, which is beyond bonkers. That's crazy. I am going to go grab my 3-plate as well while we're kind of just sitting here waiting for them to come back from the Wonder Fizz. One big difference between this mode and Cowabunga Cranked with the Ninja Turtles is you do not start with a 3-plate, so you will have to buy your 2 and or your 3-plate. Yeah, you just won't start with it. We might have flipped a little too many rounds with those profit sharings, but we can make it work. All right, you guys good to keep our timers going again? All right, wonderful. All right, let's head back down. Go grab their boat real quick and go build ourselves a Beamsmasher. All right, so head to the first island. We're going to go place the resonator down. And we're going to wait. We're not going to get any kills just yet. We're going to wait and see if it zaps them first. Give it a second. It did. Now we can kill them because it has to zap a newly spawned zombie. So we're going to get a bunch of kills, wait, get a bunch of kills, wait. And the nice thing is that if there's only 1 or 2 people on this island, you actually only need to get 2 orbs. Whereas if it is 3 or 4 people, you do need to get 3 orbs. So it'll be slightly quicker because there are only 2 of us. All right, the orb is not zapping anyone, so we're just going to kill that horde real quick. Zap. There we go. That'll be our second zombie. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. There we go. That'll despawn all of them. And we can go pick up our multiphasic resonator and head to the next island. We just found that orb all the way to Crab Island, the big island. All right, so we're heading over here, and we're going to go place the resonator down a second time. Gonna wait for it to zap again while our teammates are getting kills to help our timer on the mainland. And now we can go to town. Kill, kill, kill. There we go. There's our first orb. That did not show up in my hand. And second zap. Very good. Thank you. And back to the orb. Wonderful. Pick up the resonator again, head to the boat, and off to the final island. Doing this while having teammates who are on the mainland just, you know, continuously refreshing your crank timer is so useful. It is so good to play this as a team, you know? And I mean, it's Team Cranked, right? It's meant to be. Like, it's still playable solo. There is a solo option, but just playing as a team is just always going to be so much better for a mode that's literally meant to be played as a team, right? The mechanics are very much meant for co-op play. All right, so we're going to wait for it to zippy zap. You grab the orb, walk it in, and there's the second zap. Nice and quick. There we go. Easy peasy. There is our amp munition. Our boat did get toasted, so we're gonna have to buy a new one, but that's fine. And back we go. Timer. I'm gonna use my field upgrade. Did you guys not have any zombies? Were they all on us?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
There's none around.
Timer. Oh. I hear. All right, we need to kill these guys behind us to at least get our timer going. Golly. All right, we can just run and jump. Oh, that was a little zesty to do at the end of the round. Okay. We went through 2 of our field upgrades. Make sure you always have your eyes on that. Holy cow. All right. We made it back. We made it back, though. It's definitely going to be best to do that at a lower round if possible so that, you know, you don't have as much trouble with the timer. But honestly, at this point, that was all we had to do. And we're going to be set for the strategy. And to be honest, we're not even going to be using the Beamsmasher for a while. It's kind of more so just for the amalgams and for some of the high rounds to help slow the zombies down. We're going to go ahead and craft that. Grab it. I'm going to go Pack-a-Punch it, which hopefully Pack-a-Punch is up top. It is. Very nice. All right, go give that bad boy a triple pack. Huge. All right, we got both guns triple packed, all of our perks. Literally, all we have to do is get a legendary on our GS45s, and we're set for the game. So let's head back into the Wonder Weapon build room, the Beamsmasher room, and get cranking. Yeah, now we're just all kind of killing. We're just sitting here killing and chilling like a villain. Yeah, each of you having a secondary gun to, you know, just in case your GS45 runs out will be helpful. You can, you know, hit the box, pick and choose whatever you would like, and be good there. Oh, we're at 180,000 XP on the Black Ops Tribute event. Very nice, very nice. We're slowly but surely making it there. I'm more so focusing on the Cranked rewards instead of the Black Ops Tribute event. If you were wondering, the best way to grind the XP for that event in zombies is most likely just going to be to do high rounds. So, you know, if you want to go run a high round on the tomb, you know, it's fast, it's easy. That is going to be your fastest way to get XP. I do plan on making a video on that, so, you know, if I have already made it, I'll put a little card in the top right corner of the screen right now. But, you know, if not, that is the general strategy that is going to be best for that Black Ops Tribute event. Making sure to grab ourselves all that nice, juicy salvage.
Chopper gunner right here.
Ooh, I'll take a chopper, sure. Sir, thank you. And actually, I need to go grab some ammo, so let me do that real quick. Yeah, ammo. Ammo is always used. Oh, the insta-kill. Yes, that'll help as well. During insta-kill, you really only ever need to shoot one bullet. You know, shoot the window, shoot the door, shoot the floor, shoot the door, shoot the window. You know, carry on. So in general, this room is going to have the fastest spawns. Some zombies will spawn outside. Most of those just spawn right there. As you can see, they're climbing up like right outside the doorway. A lot will be in this window, and a lot will be in this floor. Really, all you have to worry about is manglers spawning elsewhere, and the fact that they don't count towards the round, they're not even an issue in Cranked, which is awesome. So this is just going to be super, super fast spawns, but still easy to manage, right? That's why we're using the GS45. We got the nice area damage with the explosion, so we should be good for pretty much all of it. Okay, so we killed all the zombies at the end of that round really quickly. We do want to try and, you know, save a zombie if possible, just so we don't have to use our field upgrades. All 4 of us do have a field upgrade, and they recharge super quickly. So it's really not an issue like that, but to make it a little easier on ourselves, it is definitely good to always try and have a zombie that we can rely on to refresh our timers. All right, round 30, and honestly, at this point, we're just cruising. We're really just kind of on autopilot. Like, the GS45s are doing their job. If you ever run out of ammo, I have my Beamsmasher. The best way to use the Beamsmasher is to use the slowdown beam, then the damage beam, then the slowdown beam. You just keep trading back and forth. So you want to slow all the zombies that are in front of you and then, you know, damage them. Your teammates are also damaging them. When they get slowed down, they actually do take increased damage too, which is really nice. And that's damage from all sources, not just the Beamsmasher, which is great. So that is really a big part of the high round strategy. So if you ever do get if you ever do use a mutant injection like that, you want to be standing in between the window and that floor where they spawn, and then just shooting your cannon out the front door, and then meleeing immediately. So as soon as that shot goes out, you just melee immediately. So I will try and show you guys later on, but that was a good demonstration. So you shoot and melee immediately. Yep, perfect. Shoot, melee immediately. Yep. That's just a good way to kill all the zombies around you, kill any zombies coming through the door, and just get the most damage possible out of the mutant injection in this spot. And it is good to use either mutant injections or chopper gunners, or at least have them in your back pocket, just in case, you know, for when the amalgam rounds come. In general, 4 GS45s and a Beamsmasher should be able to take out the amalgam just fine, but, you know, it's always helpful to have a score streak just in case, right? All right, and I do have enough salvage to get myself up to legendary, so I'm gonna go do that real quick. Head on in here, go upgrade to legendary. Very good. And head on back. Now we have an amalgam that got absolutely blasted because we have insta-kill. But in general, the amalgams above level, you know, 30 are going to have a good amount of health, and you're going to be getting 2 or 3 of them per round, right? So when they come, we should get another one spawning here in a second, and I can show you the best way to take care of them. All right, so there's the amalgam. So you actually want to take out your Beamsmasher, make sure it's reloaded. You're going to use the slow beam so that it's weak, and everyone on your team does increased damage to it. Do your damage, slow it again, and, you know, you just keep alternating that until it is dead. Alternatively, you could also use a chopper gunner or a mutant injection, but if you use a chopper gunner, you do have to use it early before the amalgam spawns, just because the amalgam will rush inside very easily, so you know, you can only damage it with the chopper gunner when it's outside, which could, you know, potentially be an issue if you don't time it correctly. I will take a free Kazi. Yes, sir. Thank you. And now that we have a Kazi, I do have Picky Eater on my Vulturate, so that means that as long as I have at least one equipment, there is an increased chance to get that equipment to drop from zombies, which is awesome. All right, so as soon as they stop spawning in this window is when they're done spawning for the round, so we're just going to continue blasting in there until they do stop spawning. And this is the last of them, so try and save one or two so that we can reset our timer. I would recommend using the GS45s before using the Beamsmasher, just in general, because, as you can see, they're flowing through the doorway nice and quickly. But as soon as you take out the Beamsmasher, if you start using it, they actually get slowed down before they even get to the door. So it kind of slows down the kills a little bit. It does make them easier to kill once they're in sight, and, you know, any of them hopping through this window can get nice and slowed in, you know, vulnerable. But in general, it is going to be a little better to use your GS45s just to kind of speed things up. All right, so we have an amalgam there, so we're going to slow him. He actually just died, so I'm going to use my chopper gunner before the next one spawns because we're likely going to get 2 or 3 to spawn.
There's another
I think I just
gunner.
heard it. So, where's he at? Where's he at? All right, so the amalgams are always going to spawn right here. I guess we did not get another amalgam to spawn, but it would be right where that sentry gun is. One thing to note when using the Beamsmasher is when you reload, it does a little pulse out, right? So you want to try and make it so that you can time that reload so that you are using the slowdown beam right before it so that all the zombies around you are slowed and then they get damaged by that pulse instead of them just being, you know, kind of like damage and then damage again and still running to hit you while you're reloading. So it's just a way to potentially, you know, not get hit while reloading as much. Oh, no. All right, that is round 40 in 42 minutes. So this is going to be a pretty quick run. This is going to be a sub 1 hour run with 4 players, which is actually pretty solid. All right, they're done spawning. Kind of slow down for a second. Or we might have to use our field upgrade. Now, thankfully, they do spawn in quickly through those through that little floor hole, so we should usually be able to get a kill at the beginning of pretty much every round. And for your teammates who do not have a Beamsmasher, I would recommend them grabbing assault rifles from the box, just because, you know, they're going to be putting out some great damage, but they're also going to have faster reload speeds than like an LMG, for instance, right? So they're just kind of the good mix of having a lot of damage output, but also not kind of, you know, leaving you vulnerable while they reload. So we are on round 42, and things are definitely starting to get a little more zesty, so you can absolutely feel free to use the Beamsmasher a little more often if you do end up, you know, feeling overrun or just to kind of slow things down, right? Or whenever you run out of ammo like that, just, you know, get things nice and slow, a little more manageable, kind of just control the flow of the zombies, right? Slow, damage, slow, damage, slow, damage. Wait for them to spawn, slow, damage, and try and end it with the slow before our reload. That's really just, you know, the speed you want to be switching between those two is just kind of shoot them both for, you know, maybe like a half a second. And then, you know, just keep swapping between them to always have zombies slowed and always have zombies damaged, and just kind of, you know, find the sweet spot between the two. Since you are killing so many zombies in front of you, you know, you're picking up salvage, you're picking up armor plates in between rounds. It should be pretty easy to stay armored as long as you remember to actually plate up. But there should always be armor at your disposal to, you know, be able to survive it pretty much all times. And absolutely, feel free to use any of your streaks. You know, if you see them on the ground, you know you already have one, feel free to pop it and, you know, just get your replacement, right? It's free. You don't have to run over to the crafting table to grab it, so why not? And speaking of the crafting table, the closest one is actually over here on the other side of Jug, right here in this spot right here. So I'm going to go grab myself a quick revive. Actually, a self-revive, I mean, just in case, right? And another nice thing about the Beamsmasher is you can plate up while firing it. So you can plate up while using the slow and while using the damage, which is also awesome. I mean, the amalgams really are kind of the biggest threat with this strategy, but if you really just manage your Beamsmasher correctly, you should be fine. All right, now on round 48, those amalgams are still getting absolutely smoked. All right, round 49, just one more to go. We should be getting our gobblegums as soon as the first zombie spawns on round 50. But there was a bug earlier, so there is a chance we might not be getting the rewards. But we'll see when that happens. Oh, there we go, 248,000 XP towards the Black Ops tribute event. We earned the C9 10mm mag. All right, round 50. As soon as the first zombie spawns, do we get it? We did not. All right, so there is currently a bug where you might not get the rewards. By the time I post this video, hopefully that bug is resolved, and I will try to make a pinned comment if it is. But as of right now, as of me playing, you know, on launch day for this cranked mode, there is a bug where you do not always get the reward. This guide will be unchanged. You know, the strategy will still be the same for whenever they do end up fixing that. But as soon as the first zombie spawns on 50 is when you should get your reward, similar to that Black Ops Tribute reward that I just got. You know, it would pop up. You would see all your goodies. You see your 15,000 XP. You would see the 6 gobblegums that you would have earned. You know, same as when you were like leveling up to, you know, you get gobblegums during your levels, during your prestiges. Every prestige, when you hit level 20, you would get a free gobblegum pack. So it would show up just like that. It would look like a spin, but the spin would have six gobblegums in it. So we are going to go exfil on round 51. Anyways, just for, you know, the extra XP. All right, there we go. Round 51. Let's go ahead and keep our timer going. Keep our timer going. I got the timer. All right, we're going to go hit the exfil, and this exfil is going to be a little spicy. We are going to have to, we're going to have to go boating. We're going to have to boat to an island, so that's going to be very interesting for our timers. All right, we're going to go accept our exfil. Go buy some ammo real quick. I'm going to head down to the boat. I do have a chopper gunner, so that is great. I'm going to use my field upgrade first, okay? So they're not spawning right now. I'm going to use my field upgrade now. And then give our teammates 3 seconds. So, Wrath, you're going to use your field upgrade next, just in case we don't get any spawns. So we're looking for spawns. Go, go, go. All right, and we got spawns. All right, so we did have to use 2 timeouts there. Two of our field upgrades in order to do that, which is crazy. All right, so here, hop on with me, Wrath, and honestly, the rest of you guys just keep killing zombies. Field upgrade, field upgrade, field upgrade, field upgrade. All right, so it's definitely going to be best to kind of stagger your way to this exfil, so, you know, some people can always be killing, because that timer, 10 seconds, is brutal. Even with your timeout field upgrade, it is just crazy. But thankfully, once we do get here, you know, we can pop our chopper gunner and just absolutely clear the island. All right, there we go. And that should be a full exfil. Go, go, go before the timer hits 0. Oh my goodness, that would have been tragic. Why is the timer still ticking down? Wait, it looks like we died. What? Oh, exfilled. I thought we got smoked there. That was funky, dudes. And you should get a good amount of XP. 136,000. Not too shabby, not too shabby. So we did unlock the C9 10mm auto 30-round mag. We got a bunch of gobblegums, but unfortunately, we did not get the gobblegum pack that we were supposed to get guaranteed for hitting round 50. We did get a Perkaholic earlier, which was very nice. So, you know, not a totally wasted run, but overall, it was pretty solid. Well, that is the strategy. That is everything you need to know about the Terminus round 50 run for the new Team Cranked mode and Black Ops 6 Zombies. If you ever want help with anything zombies, I stream with viewers multiple times a week and have an active Discord community who are always helping each other out. If you found this guide helpful, let me know by dropping a thumbs up. And feel free to subscribe for more in-depth guides in the future.